Okay, let's look at a difficult project question. Here's a difficult project question. It's basically a sort of tangled triangle of interfaces in the middle of which there's a railway signaling project. Let's look at how it helps us look at systems, interfaces, architectures, all that sort of thing with 6 different models. And look at the comparative strengths of each. So we're going to look at 3 ChatGPT models, and we're going to look at 3 non-ChatGPT models. The only one I'm going to ignore at the moment is the new Chinese DeepSeek, just to avoid controversy. Right, so let's get started. If I go to my first model, we've got GPT-4o, and we're going to do it with some essentially some project user interface that ChatGPT has. So it has the ability to add files and to have multiple conversations, and it has a set of instructions. Okay, so I'm just going to get that going. Let's hit the deliverables. I don't know why it's wobbling. We'll figure that out later. Let's hit the deliverables, please. Get that going. Okay, so while that's getting started, let's go to O1, which is a reasoning model. And so it thinks before it does stuff, and also it has something called Canvas now, which allows you to interact with the documents that it creates. So again, let's now copy in the same prompt. Okay, and get it going. Okay, so you notice this time it's thinking. Right, so it's thinking, so we'll come in, it's not actually generating tokens straight away. So now let's go on to a really advanced one, which is currently at a sort of £200 a month subscription, O1 Pro, and let's put that in. Okay, and get it going. So let's see how that starts. So again, yeah, thinking, and we'll be able to look at the details as to what it's doing. But we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's get going with a non-ChatGPT model. Here's Gemini. Okay, now you've got a choice of different models here. I'm using one of the Gemini 2s. Now the great thing about Gemini, apart from being, if you like, distinct enough from ChatGPT to give you different kinds of answers, is that it's got loads of tokens. So, that's, 1 million tokens, that's maybe 500,000 or 600,000 words. So there's lots of PDFs you can add. Now we aren't using PDFs on this one because we've got quite enough to be doing. So we've put the instructions in and we'll set that going. Gemini also has reasoning models, but again, we've already got a reasoning model going. That's off it goes. Claude. Now Claude, it comes from Anthropic, and we're using Claude Sonnet. And Claude's a super little model, and the great strength of Claude is that it, apart from it just being a very personable model, it's a good writer, it's quite good at code, but it also generates artifacts, self-contained artifacts that you can interact with, a bit like a small web app. So let's put that in. Let's get that going. Press there. Okay, that's off. Last one. Okay, so Replit is one of a few, if you like, they're platforms which have got LLMs behind them, but they allow you not just to write code, but they allow you to stand up code and deploy code. So that once you've created something you're happy with, you can actually sort of push it out onto the internet and keep that up. So let's get started. Let's pop that in here. Okay, and start building. Okay, It will complain with us a little bit because it's quite ambitious and system engineering, but we'll see what it will start to think of. Okay, so we've got those 6 going. Let's go back to the start. Let's go back to the project interface for ChatGPT 4.0. So it's looking at, it's given us the constraints, and it's saying it's going to outline some approaches. So we just want to say carry on, unless there's anything we want to change. Okay. O1. Right, so O1's given us quite a short answer. let's first see what, if you click on it, then we can see what it's been thinking. So it's doing reading and understanding. Well, the interesting thing is actually in the thing, I asked it to digest first before carrying on. So we can see here what it's doing. Okay, so I'll just say excellent, carry on. Again, if you've got specific ideas or preferences, you can express those, but I want to see how all these 6 compare. So let's go with that. Okay, O1 Pro, which is a more advanced version of O1. Let's go up to the top. Okay, so this all in here is, if you like, the output. Let's see what thinking it's done. It gives you a summary of thought here. So it's taken a closer look. It's broke down the tasks. It's looked for unique aspects. It's trying to understand the constraints, and it's trying to synthesize the constraints. Okay. So it's given a summary of what it thinks of the problem. It's then given 3 different approaches to how you could actually model these interfaces and the architecture. It's then started a version 0. So quite a short version 0. Let's see, but it's trying to do everything at once, which is good. So it's then looking at suggesting some of the SysML diagrams, which is a system engineering language, which has also got a visual aspect to it. So it's actually suggesting some of those. I've got an interpreter of that sort of code. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If we just put it into the interpreter as is, yeah. So if you look here, this is actually showing some of the basics of the SysML diagrams. Okay, so where are we? So sorry, we're back in O1 Pro, and it's got a, let's have a look. Executive, so it was actually started its version 0 there. So that's great. Can you select your preferred approach of the 3 and begin to flesh out the version 0 system architecture with v0 with relevant diagrams. Okay. So you'll see again it's thinking, and we can click into its thinking. Right, let's see how the non-ChatGPT model is doing. Here is here's the instructions. Okay, so it's thought it through. Okay, it's warmed up, which is what I asked it to do first. Carry on. And again, obviously, if there's anything that doesn't look right in there, then we can direct it off. How's Claude doing? Okay, so it's thinking about actually sort of summarize the situation. It's suggesting that we proceed with item 2. Let's start with item 1, reading in stakeholder complexity. So Claude's a smaller model and it tries to be less ambitious. So and often it's good. It does very well if you allow it to constrain itself. So yeah, let's do that. So let's get a smaller contribution on the stakeholder environment. Let's do that. Let's see what it comes up with. All right, how is the agent doing? So it would like to. So it's saying I'll try and go away to build a prototype, and we can add these things in. And if I want to, I can click on one of these to add that in straight away. But I think let's just build the initial prototype to approve the plan. Okay, so now it will. So we've got the conversation on the left and some of the code output on the right. Okay, so let's go back to the start. In fact, this is the point now at which I would engage with other people, and we can actually start to think about where to take this next.